Shelby, clearly you've got the experience in business, but as a Tucsonan, you talked about just you were out of town on vacation, just how, so you travel quite a bit.
Yes, I do.
What do you notice in some of these other communities that strike you as, wow, they're doing it right, and then do you come back to Tucson and kind of look around at the graffiti on the roads and stuff and just kind of,
Right. I just came back from Sun Valley, Idaho, and I really had a great time. There was no graffitis. The streets are really clean. And though I want you to know that they have a very high diurnal range between the temperatures of their highest in the afternoon and their lowest at night. The temperature change was as much as 40 to 45 degrees right now. And in the winter, they have very, very cold winters. So there's a real big difference between the high and the low, and that causes a lot of problems with roads and of course would develop potholes. But there were none, and there was no graffiti, and everything was clean, and there were flowers. So it was very nice and very neat. Reminded me of Scottsdale or Tempe or any place like that up in the valley. Very clean and very organized.
What is your sense of and you interact quite a bit with City Hall, probably more so than most small business people, of the council members down there right now, what is your sense of, do you think they really understand small business? Or
I think that Paul Cunningham does the most. I've had a lot of interaction with Mr. Cunningham, and I think that he does understand it. I've heard interviews by the mayor. I think he has a sense of it as well. I don't know I have not had interaction with the others, but just judging from their experience and background, unless you sit in this chair, unless you interact with me on a daily basis, most people have not a clue of what it takes to run a business. One of the things that have bothered me, I talk to a lot of people, I do a lot of business with other people here in town, and I always talk to, especially a person behind the counter, and I ask them, do you vote? Are you registered to vote? And the reaction I'm getting constantly is, no, I'm not registered to vote, or yes, I'm registered to vote, but I don't vote because they're all crooks. And I tell them why. I said, well, you just keep doing that, keep having that attitude, because then you'll continue having the crooks in the office. So I encourage people to vote, to get out, to be registered and vote and let their voices be heard, because we can't make any changes unless we make changes at the voting booth.
And how important, following up on that, because as we're out talking to people, they don't understand that it's a citywide election.
Right, and that's exactly, and I tell them, I go, this is citywide. The person represent one precinct, but they are voted in by the entire city. So, and that's a neat opportunity, because the people that work for City Hall, the people that work in the government, have an opportunity to secure their pensions by making those changes. Because if they don't, there is not going to be any money that will secure their pensions, that will fund their pensions, unless we bring more business in here that will generate more revenue. And that's the long and short of it.
It's what we call growing the pie.
It's growing the pie. And we have to grow the pie. It's important so that young families can stay here, so that young people that graduate from U of A don't have to move away.